everybody. Tonight I wanted to take a time to show you exactly how to do an awesome gold makeup look. And this is just going to be like a neutral palette, but it's going to be really dramatic, a lot of fun, and it's going to be sparkly and shimmery and tan and bronzed and all of those things that we all love about like movie star makeup. And we're going to do that with drugstore makeup today, or at least for the most part. I have a couple of things that are a little bit more high-end and specialty products, but I really love doing nudes and browns and things like that just because I think it looks good on just about every skin color. So this is a really fun one, and it's one of my favorites. So one of the things that I've experienced is with a darker or an eye color that you're playing around with, one of the ways to make sure that it doesn't make a mess everywhere, for natural face makeup, I'll do my face makeup and things like that for every day before and kind of work my way out, like up, as far as layers go. For this, because the eye is going to be so dramatic, I want to work the opposite direction. So I'm going to start with my eye so that in case I get powders or things here, I can clear that away with my regular face makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyelid. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. primer like we've talked about before. And I'm just placing all of this here. Here we go. And I'm going to blot it in, get it nice and good to go. Here we are. So while it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and just sculpt out my eyebrows a little bit. Find my pencil. Here it is. And I'm going to fill these in a little bit darker today just because the look is going to be really dramatic, so I want them to be really dramatic. So I'm going to get nice and close so you can see. And I'm really going to make sure to get a really nice line. On both the top and the bottom of the brow. There you go. And I can clean these up later if I need to because I'm going to be doing my face makeup later. So, there we go, is one. And this side. Really curving the brow over. There we go. Okay. So they're nice and filled in, and like I've said before, I'm just going to use a brush to kind of brush through any hard lines that are in the center so that it's an even color throughout the brow. And then just to make me not lose my mind, I'm just going to do a smidge of cleanup. There we go. On here. So they're nice and dark and nice and filled in, and really, I really made sure to accentuate the shape of them. Alright, so now that my primer has sealed up, or dried up, I should say, I'm going to use my regular old blending eyeshadow brush that we've talked about a bunch. And I'm going to start with like a neutral color because I want it, it's called a transition color, and this is going to allow me to blend and build on top of it. You're not going to see a whole lot of it, it's just going to really help blend all of the other colors that we're going to use. So I'm going to use, this is from an e.l.f. palette here. This is actually a slide out with some blush colors in it. And even if I don't use them for the blush, they work great with some lip balm as a matte lip color. But I'm going to go ahead and use this one here, which if you can see that it's close to my skin tone, it's got a little bit of yellow in it, but it's a matte color, it's really flat, it doesn't have a whole lot of shimmer to it, and it's kind of skin tone. So I'm just going to use that all over the lid, all in the crease, and up in the brow area. And you can see it's a flat color. And we're going to really cover this up. You're not going to see a whole lot of it, but it's just going to act as like a blending color. Like I said, it's called a transition color for all the other colors we're going to use. Nothing with shimmer in it because you want it to be really flat You don't want it to compete with the other colors you use. So I'm just getting it all over my lids, everywhere. Okay, there we go. Okay, so they're really flat, and you can see how, like, the difference in my skin tone, even because my skin is a little bit red. Okay, so now I'm gonna start, let's do a little bit of a darker color on the inside corner. So I'm gonna take, let's go with this gold here from the same palette. It's another gold color here. And just need a little bit. You can always add more. We've talked about that before. You can always add more. It's really hard to get it off. So work on starting with a little bit and build your way up. So I'm going to start here in the corner and just working in like a circular motion. I'm just going to do the corner and a little bit up into the crease, but I'm staying over, like we've talked about, on the outside corner of the eye. Do the other side. And we're just building this color all over. Really concentrating it on the outside corners. Blend it out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take a really bright color. I'm going to do this one here. It's kind of yellow, just a pale yellow, but it's like a bone as well. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, and I'm going to put it up in the brow bone area to highlight up in there. Do it on both sides. I find it's always easier to work simultaneously rather than doing a whole eye and then moving to the other side. It really helps to do each step on either side so that you can make sure they're really even. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with my, one of my favorite shades, and I've told you all before, I think I wear it every time I put makeup on. It's become one of my favorites, and I'm addicted to it. And it's the MAC Love Connection pressed or baked powder, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to put this on the lid on the inside corner, and I'm dragging it all the way over to that other gold, and I really want this to be nice and pigmented, so I'm just taking my time. And applying it really well. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to use, I can't give you a brand name because this is a, it's not a super big brand. It's from the mall, the kiosk in the middle of the mall that sells like the mineral makeup. This is a loose eye dust. You can see that. It says loose eye dust right on it. And this is the shade Copper, number 4. And I'm going to use this. It's a really concentrated powder. And I'm going to start with what's on the lid because there's plenty in here. It's basically the color of a penny. And I'm just going to pick some up and start again on this corner on the outside and work it into the crease. And I can always add more, working in circular motions. Bringing it up a little bit. But really keeping it in this corner here. Okay, and you can see it's falling here, but that's okay because I haven't even put my face makeup on. Let's move to the other side. just keep building the color. Here we go. So you can see I've got this copper on, and my eyes are green, and so coppers really make my eyes pop. You could do this with the same, you know, shades in gray or green or whatever works for your eye color. But I really like the gold tones. I think it looks so pretty, just like bronze skin everywhere. So I'm just really making sure it's concentrated on that outside corner. Okay. I'm just gonna use a big fat brush to kind of dust some of this powder away from underneath, because it'll bug me. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with a pretty dark gold. This is a really deep, like cafe color here. And I'm gonna go ahead and use that next. And again, layering it right on top of this other color, but keeping it a little more concise in the crease. So right above the crease almost, so that I keep that copper color on the lid. And this espresso-y color is in the crease. Just like that. Do the other one. And you can see how the color is building on each other. And that color that we put down, the very first one, that taupe, you really can't see it a whole lot. You would never know that I did that. But it just helps to blend all of these colors together without making too much of a mess. Okay, so there's that one. Next, I'm going to use a gold from a contour palette. This is a contour palette that I've got, and this is a fairly matte gold color, and it's got 4 different ones. I'm going to use a little bit of this matte one, and I'm going to actually go in and contour pretty extreme with that here in a minute. But I'm just going to add that closer to the lid. And then I'm going to use the really, really gold one on top of that in the very corner of the eye. And that's just adding some shimmer. Then, clean my brush off on my arm. I'm going to use the really, really light color to add in the corner here to really highlight right here on my lid, on this inside corner. Here we go. Okay. So again, I'm going to use the really big fluffy brush to kind of rid my face of some of this powder. Okay. Next I'm going to use, this is called Love Dust, and it's a Victoria's Secret color. It's a loose powder. And again, I'm just going to use what's on the lid, because I don't need a whole lot. Clean my brush off a little bit. And I'm going to just put this here on the very, almost near my lash line on this, and up underneath this area here. And I'll go back and put some more. This has a little bit more sparkle to it, but I'm gonna put more underneath after I've put my concealer on. You can see it sparkling now because of the bigger pieces of shimmer from this powder. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and do my top liner. So I'm going to use my Revlon Color Stay pen like we've used 100 times, and my gel liner, the Maybelline Eye Studio. You can find all these products, names, photos, the link on the Becoming Brie website. And I'm just going to do here. All the way in. All the way over. And I don't want the line to be too fat because I want to be able to see the colors that I've layered on the top of my lid. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Getting all the way down to my lashes. There we go. So you can still see the light color above that liner line. All right, now let's go ahead and put some face makeup on. Oops, wrong one. I have like 10 foundations in my bag, I don't know why. So I'm taking my face makeup and very carefully I'm going to put it up under my eyes, my nose, and I'm paying attention now to not get my brow area, and I'm just going to sweep this straight up if I were making a line to my brow from under my eye as to not ruin that makeup. There we go. Spackle it a little bit. This is a good place if you have a foundation brush to really get it right up under that makeup or right to the brow line where you've just placed your other makeup. But this is again why I leave this for special occasions rather than every day, because I like to be able to not take all the time in the world with a brush. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to do some highlighting and contouring, and I'm going to start with the contour because highlighting and contouring, let's talk about this a little bit while I find my brush. To contour, those are big words that can seem daunting. I'm looking for my brush. There it is. Contour is a word, fancy makeup word for shadow. Highlight is a fancy makeup word that means to brighten, which we probably all kind of got highlight. But basically contour is going to make things go away from you and highlighting is going to bring them towards you. So keep that in mind. If you've got something that you really don't want to see and you want it kind of fading off into the distance, you want to contour it, and vice versa. If you really want to feature it brought forward, like your eyes, you are going to do this area here on your eye. It's going to bring your eye forward. That's why we highlight here above our brow bone. So it kind of brings that forward, that sort of thing. It gives you dimension in your look. So like I said, I've got a highlight contour palette here. And I've got a light highlighter here, a dark matte color over here. This is a more flesh toned shimmer, and then this is a really, really deep gold. So I'm going to use the matte color, and this is a special brush I got from Clinique with some blush, but it's really thin so I can get a good line, and it's wide so I can sweep this really easily. But I want to get some product in them. I'm just blowing off the extra so I don't have a crazy line. And then you want to, like we've talked about before, the fish face can help, but if you've got, you know, fuller cheeks, then it's going to be harder to find that line. You can kind of see the natural shadow there happening on my face, but if you can't find it, a good rule of thumb is like the top of your ear, if you were to draw a line to the corner of your mouth, and you can see that's exactly where mine falls. So that's the rule of thumb, and we're going to stop at about the arch of your eyebrow. So where you touch your brush first is where it's going to be the darkest. So keep that in mind. You're not going to want to do it like here or right at your hair, or you're going to really have a mess. So I like to start here in the center and just gradually work my way up and down. There we go. And you don't want to bring this down. You want to sweep it up if you're going to sweep it, but I don't like to do too much of either one because I want it to stay where I've put it. So I'm just get rid of some of that now. And I'm really going to work on blending this out now by just letting the brush pick up more or less of the product. Okay? So you can see that's a really deep line, but it's creating this illusion on the side of my face. It looks with the light, it's really hard to, I'm going to step back so you can see a little bit. It looks really, really harsh, but it's not quite as bad. So I'm using, this is just a fluffy brush I'm just going to use to kind of blend it out a little bit. It's not nearly as harsh in actual light. Let me go ahead and do the other side and then I can step back and show you. So again, from the top of my ear to my mouth, you can see this is without any makeup and you can see that shadow line. So just keep that in mind. Bring it forward a little bit. And blend it out. And again, I'm stopping right about where the arch of my eyebrow lays. And then I'm just going to blend it with this fluffy brush that has no product on it. Okay? So now when I step back, you can really see the difference. Alright, so now I'm going to take the same color, do my jawline, and that will help alleviate a double chin, the look of a double chin. Helps get rid of some of that. And I'm bringing it all the way to the bottom of my chin. There. I'm going to do my temples and up into my hairline. And there we go. I'm going to do the sides of my nose and bring it up a little bit towards my brows, like that. You can see the shape of my face kind of changing with the color. And I'm going to put a little bit here under my lip. Okay. Then I'm just going to take my powder brush and just, where I've just put that powder, I'm just blending it out a little bit so that there aren't any like crazy lines. Okay. Now let's do some highlighting, or the opposite. So I'm going to take my regular old Revlon highlighter stick, my concealer that we've talked about 100 times. This is really brightening. And all I'm going to do is make it under my eye, and I'm going to draw an inverted triangle straight down like this. Like I said, I like to do here inside my eyes because I think it brightens things up a lot. Like that. A little bit here at your top lip. This is called your Cupid's bow because it looks like the bow of Cupid. And I'm going to do, some people call this the tree, but it's your forehead. If you've got a really, really big forehead, you're not going to want to do it as much. Straight down my nose, like that. And just a smidge here. You can see I'm just blotting it so it's not quite as dark. And right on the base of my chin. There we go. So now I'm going to use my fingers and just blot that out and help with those lines. I don't want to bring this too far over because that will defeat the purpose of the contour that I did earlier, but I do want to blend them. So I'm getting close to the line and touching a little bit, but not overdoing it. Blend this out. You can see why I don't do this as everyday face makeup, because it does take a lot longer. Blend it over on top of my brows, which is going to help clean up that look if you made a mess anywhere. Okay, in here under my eye, like this, and again, just following that straight up. If I was creating a line from my bottom lash line to my brow, and I like to bring this all the way over to my hairline, which we've talked about before. Do the other side. Got a hair stuck in my concealer. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use the big fat brush again and just dust over that, which is going to help drag some of the product that I already have on my face to kind of soften those lines a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take my blush, like I do regularly, which I'm using the Clinique blush that I've raved about 100 times. It's the Breathless Berry. It's one of my favorites. Got quite a bit of it. And I'm going to start, just like I told you, with if you smile, we're going to blend this right on top of the contour line. So I'm going to start back just a little bit, and I'm going to go sideways and just bring it straight up. So this color is going to mix with the contour line. You can see that. There we go. Do this side. Bring it all the way up. There we go. And like I said, I like a little bit on my nose. I think it helps create like a sun-kissed look. And take my big brush again and just blend that a little bit. Then I'm going to use my big fat brush because I just like that I don't have a whole lot of product on it, and it's really big and fluffy, and you don't need a whole lot of highlighter powder. But I'm using the lightest color in this palette, and I'm just getting a tiny bit. And it's just going to set my concealer, and I'm going to bring it straight up so that it mixes with the blush that's here. You want your highlighter powder to have some shimmer to it, because that's going to create that glow that beams in the sunlight type of thing. Okay, and then I'm just dusting all the powder off, and I'm just blending all of that together. Okay, so there's that. And when I step back away from the light a little bit, you can still see how those lines are really coming together. All right, so now let's finish this eye look. I'm going to take my pencil again, and actually let's start with my brush again. I'm going to use my liner brush, the one that I seal with, the really, really thin one, and I'm going to grab some of this copper powder from before. I just need the lid. I'm going to get some of that, and I'm going to bring it right down here under my lash line. Like that. Just kind of connect it to the top like that. Let's do it on this side. This is just going to add some dimension to the liner that I'm going to use. You can see it's already creating some definition. So let's go ahead and do our liner now on the bottom. And I'm just going to go right at the lash line, so basically between that powder and my waterline, connect the two, bring this all the way over, like that. Let's do the other one. You can see the difference on the one that's lined and the one that's not. Connect the lines. There we go. Just make sure this is even. There we go. Now, put the lid on this so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to take and do my sealer, like I do every time I line my eyes. The top and the bottom. There you go. And using my liner brush, I'm going to go back in now with, this is a Maybelline color. I can't even see the color because it is, my label has been worn off from sitting in my bag, but this is a color I've had forever. It is a Maybelline shade and it is black with some shimmer in it. You can see that. It doesn't have to be a specific color. I just like that it's really, really dark and it does have the sparkle in it. So I'm just blotting my brush really well. And I'm going to go over my liner with this black because it's going to keep it really dramatic. If you wanted this look to be for a special occasion daytime, I would do the dark brown powder like the Love Dust or the espresso color. Just going to do a little bit on the bottom because I've got that copper color and I don't want it to get too muddy. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to take my big fluffy brush again and go back in with a color that I use very often. It's this one here. It's like nearly black, but it's a dark, dark brown. And I'm just going to come in the corner on top of that black and blend it into the brown. Again, keeping it just above my crease so that you still see the lighter color that's in there. There we go. Okay. Then clean off my brush a little bit. This is an NYC palette. This is number 940 Central Park, and it's created actually for green eyes, but it's got all different kinds of things in here. But I'm going to use this really, really light shade here. It's very shimmery, but I'm going to put it right in the corner just to make sure that the corner is really, really bright and it doesn't get muddy from all the shades of brown that I've used. Just like that. Make sure it's even. Like so. And then just because I really like it, I'm going back with that copper color again. And I really want to make sure you can see it on the lid here. So I'm just going to reapply some right there on that lid. just to intensify that color. And then only on the top line, because I want it to be really dramatic, am I going to go back and reline the lid. Like that. And I'm not worried about sealing all of this because, at least for me, I usually get the pressing on the bottom. Just like that. So I'm going to keep that really, really dramatic. Okay. Use my big brush now and just kind of sweep under there and make sure it's cleaned up. Like that. For my lip, I'm going to use, this is a eye pencil, lip pencil from Alexis Makeup. And this is the Chilled Gold color. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's just a little bit gold, and it's mostly nude. It's got a little bit of gold, and it's got gold glitter in it, which I really, really like. I'm going to start, though, with my concealer stick and just cancel out my color on my lips, because I don't want my lip color showing through. There we go. I'm just going to warm this a little bit in my fingers. Okay. And just going to line my lips. There we go. Now I'm going to take, this is one of my other little dupe tricks. I've got a Clinique. This is the Uplighting Liquid Illuminator, and it's a tint that actually is good for like sunless tanning. It's like a lotion cream, you just pump it out. Let's see, I don't want to get too much. The end dries out a little bit, and it kind of squirts everywhere. Don't want any lumps. Okay, so you can see it's just a bronzy liquid. And I'm going to put it right on my lips. You could use a brush for this. I just hate using it and cleaning it. There we go. So it's really, really bronzy. I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of mascara on. Oh wait, let me curl my lashes first. I'm going to press really close to the edge, and then I'm going to let go and tilt this way back up and press again. There we go. So press, and then lift it way up. Oops. Press again. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to use my first coat of mascara. To really saturate my lashes. Okay. Get a little bit more product. I really want to make sure that I get all the way up in here, so I'm just going to hold this up. Get all the way to the base of my lashes. There we go. And do the bottom. And I would definitely do a false lash for this look. I currently am waiting on mail order to come in the mail with a couple of sets of really thick dramatic lashes. So for today, I'm just going to use my single wispies like this. I have a brush that's devoted just to eyelash glue. It's just like a lip liner brush. And this is the Ardell Lash Tight adhesive you can get from Target. Just going to dip my brush in to get a little bit on the end and let it start to dry. Got some tweezers and my lashes, and this would work just as well for the full length lash, except I would just apply this to the whole strip. Measure them first, make sure they're not too long, otherwise they're going to be poking your eye. I would apply this to the whole strip and then wait, sing your ABCs, and that's going to give the glue just enough time, like right now I'm talking, it's giving the glue just enough time to start to dry out, and that's going to make it tacky so that they stick really well the first time right where you put them. Otherwise it's going to be too wet and they're just going to fall off or pry away. You don't want that. Alright, so I'm just holding this like this so I can do both at the same time. And I'm going to put the lash on my tweezers. I'm going to be really careful. I'm actually holding them upside down like this so that when I grab the lash, it's in the right position to place right on my eye. So just mentally figure that out before you start taking them away. So I'm just going to grab one. Oops. I dropped it on the tray. I'm going to go ahead and just touch the end to the glue. And you can see that there's just a tiny little bead of glue. I really want you to be able to see it. That's a little bit better. There's a tiny little bitty bead of glue on that lash. And, oh, I just dropped it. All right, start again. Ha! All right, so tiny little bead of glue. There we go. I'm gonna set this down. And now I'm just gonna come in here and place it. If you're using these wispies, I like to start on the outside and work my way in, because you can always add more. There we go. There's one. I think I'll do two on each side. If I had some big dramatic lashes, you'd really be able to see. When I get those in the mail, guys, it's supposed to be coming this week, I will do an eyelashes video. Here we go. Number 2. Oops. Get right in there. Here we go. All right, 2 more on the other side. There we go. I'm still using the same glue because it's just getting tackier as it sits, which makes it easier to stick these. Whoops, that's not where you go. And I dropped another one. You can see the reason why I don't wear falsies daily. It can be quite the chore. There we go. And if I don't have all the time in the world, inevitably, if I'm rushing, they're that much more difficult. One more. I save the falsies for photos or special occasions, New Year's, parties, that sort of thing. Last one. I know it's kind of hard for you to see on this eye because of the light and the way that I hold the tweezers. Sorry. There we go. I want you to really be able to see those, they are longer. Now I would let these dry for a bit, and then apply another coat of mascara, which is going to not only lengthen your own lashes, but it's going to help blend the two together, your lashes and the falsies. Just pressing that on there a little bit more. Don't come all the way to the end of the falsies with your mascara. You want to just try to keep it, like I lifted my eye up and kind of got it right up on the inside. That's going to make the length of your false lashes last a little bit longer. You'll be able to take them off, put them back in the case, and use them again. If you get mascara all the way to the end, they start to get clumpy. It's really hard to curl them if you end up curling them ever, and they get worn a lot easier. So I recommend not getting the mascara all the way to the end, just keeping it right at the base where they meet your actual lashes. The last thing I'm going to do is put some lip gloss on, and this is one of my favorites. It's a splurge, but it's the Clinique Long Last Glosswear, and this shade is Air Kiss number 10, like that. The Clinique, here we go. And I'm going to use quite a bit of this because I like the gold to really be shiny. This goes on so smooth. It's very sticky, so when I wear it, I like to keep my hair either pulled back, or don't drive in a convertible after you put this on. There we go. So that's that. And one of the last things I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my fluffy brush and I'm going to use my regular old bronzer because I love it. I'm just going to get a little bit on there and tap it. And then I'm just going to dust my face a little bit with it because it's got such a nice shimmer to it that it will help make this whole look glow a little bit. I'm going to bring it all the way down to really blend that. Get it right here on my collarbones, a little bit more. And that's just going to help blend all of this together. Okay. And then to complete this look, a couple of things I would do. I would definitely put my hair up. So let's just, for the sake of showing you the finished look, I'm going to do the sock bun on the side of my head here. Got my hair in a pony and it's a little bit teased out here. Just make sure I twist this the right way. And I'm going to try to keep this kind of neat rather than messy like the other tutorial, which is a little bit more difficult on my hair because I have so many layers, but we're going to do it. Just going to tuck and roll this. Just like the tutorial said, just keep tucking and rolling. Trust it. Tuck those pieces in there. Make sure you can't see the sock. And then because it's a little bit loose, I'm just going to take some bobby pins and secure it to the side of my head. Just like that. Like that. There we go. So you can see how nice that looks down and really polished to the side. And I love this gold look. It's one of my favorites. It's super fun, super glamorous. It's not very loud, but it is for sure Hollywood. So I just want you all to see really closely how that looks, how it blends really nicely. It does take a lot longer, and that's why, like I say, I would only use it for special occasions or that sort of thing. It's really, it's not something I would do for every day because I just don't have the time, but it is a lot of fun. I feel like I have lipstick or gloss right there on my teeth. Get rid of that. But I hope y'all try this look. If you do recreate it, put it on Instagram, hashtag becoming Bree, tag me in it because I would love to see it. I'd love to see your look. And I hope y'all love this because it's one of my favorites. It looks really, really pretty. It's really, really polished. And it's just a good, neutral, glamorous look. So enjoy it, guys, and I will see you on the next tutorial.